I'm going to show you how to install an LED retrofit kit on this Altair AL-2161 lantern. We bought 3 of these a few years ago at Costco, and the LED panels are no longer functioning properly. I was able to locate a retrofit kit online from a company called LED Supply, and it will work with this lantern as well as many other models, so you might want to check their website to make sure it will work with your LED lantern, but it will work on the AL-2161. And the current price of this kit is under $40 for all 3 pieces you see here. In the spirit of full disclosure, LED Supply did provide me with this retrofit kit to make this video, but they're not paying me to make the video. You can also purchase these components individually from their website, and they have a lot of other LED components on their website, so I'll put a link in the description of this video. You might want to check that out. So here are the tools and everything I have laid out to do the retrofit on this LED Supply retrofit for this Altair fixture that I have already removed from the wall. I did take the globe off a couple of weeks ago and cleaned it because it was really dirty. Here are the tools laid out that I thought I was going to need to perform this operation. A couple of them I did not end up using, but let me tell you what I did use. I used some wire nuts, shown here, and also needle nose pliers, some regular pliers, of course the retrofit kit from LED Supply. I had a flathead screwdriver and a small Phillips screwdriver, but I did not end up needing those. I also have a pick, and I'm using that just to punch some holes into my cable tie, which I'll talk about a little bit later. I did have a pair of wire strippers, a 4.5 millimeter drill bit, or you could also use a 5/32, a set of wire cutters, a number 2 Phillips screwdriver, a small vacuum cleaner just to clean up the inside of the lantern, and a cable tie, and of course a portable drill. First, I'm going to remove the globe by removing these 2 Phillips screws. Okay, this LED plate is held in place with 3 Phillips screws. I think you can also use a flathead screwdriver there, but I'm going to use a Phillips. And you'll notice that this LED array has 8 LEDs. I was down to only 1 functioning LED, so it was not very bright at all. In fact, you could barely see it, and that's why we're going to retrofit this with a new LED panel. Okay, so this, you can see how dirty it is, all the little, I don't even know what this is, kind of crumbs, dust, I don't know what gets in there, lint, whatever. And that's why I have this little vacuum cleaner. I'm going to kind of vacuum this whole thing out and clean it up a little bit. Okay, that's good enough for now. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect this connector, which just unclips like that. So you just press that tab down and it will pull right out. Okay, this little plate is held in place with 3 tiny Phillips screws, and they're very hard to get out. There's 3 little nuts on the back. It might be easier to use a pair of pliers. Just take those nuts or to loosen the nuts. There's 2. I'm kind of holding the head of the screw with my left hand while I'm unscrewing with the right. Okay, there's 3. Okay, so now that is out, and I'm just going to use my wire cutters to cut this off, because we're never going to use this again. It looks like they used some thermal paste here. I'm going to clean all this off, or as much as I can get off. And I'm going to clean the back side too. So here's what comes in this retrofit kit. You have a new LED panel. You can see it's a lot more substantial than the old one we just removed. And it comes with basically just self-adhesive on the back. We have a new power supply or transformer, and then we have a new daylight sensor that we're going to wire in. And they do give you a wiring diagram But I'm pretty much going to copy what we already have on the old system. I'll be removing this power supply next. You can see I've already cleaned up this plate quite a bit and gotten most of the stuff off there. And now this is being held in place just with 2 Phillips screws. So we're going to go ahead and remove those. Okay, so now what we have is the old power supply is still wired in to this lamp unit. And this would actually pull out. I can pull these wires out a little bit. They're just coming out of the back of this unit over here. And then I'm going to wire in my new power supply. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and remove this old daylight sensor because we'll be replacing it with a new one. And this thing just screws on. This little... Okay, so there it's out. As you can see, this is the new sensor. Okay, the old daylight sensor is wired in, and they've used like a heat shrink connector here, which I'm not going to use. I'm going to get rid of it. So I'm going to cut these wires. So we'll strip these wires back, and then we'll be ready to use a new wire nut to connect all these up. Okay, before I wire this up, I'm going to go ahead and install this. It's just a little plastic nut, and we're going to strip this wire back, and we're going to strip this wire back. And these 2 wires, along with the white wire coming from the photocell, are going to all go into one wire nut. So we'll cut this here, get both of those. I'm going to get rid of that. And I'm going to strip both of these wires now. Well, actually just this one because the red's already stripped. And now we can discard this. We're done with the old daylight sensor. I want to mention that before I mount this on the wall, I am orienting these wire nuts in such a way that the open end faces down so that water will not pool just in case any moisture gets in there. Obviously, these are not waterproof. Okay, those are in there good and solid. Okay, so we have finished wiring up the daylight sensor. This other remaining white wire is what wires up to our AC coming from the house. And this black wire will wire to our AC coming from the house. Okay, so I'm going to strip these wires back. Okay, so now we're going to connect the blue wire from the new power supply to our white. And we're going to connect the brown to the black. I'm going to double check to make sure all of these wires are secure in these wire nuts. I'm going to pull any excess through to the other side. And now what we have to do is to mount this new power supply. And now these holes for the power supply are not going to line up with these threaded holes in here. They're just not the same pattern. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a cable tie. That's why I purchased these wider cable ties, because I should have enough room to drill a hole through the cable tie. We're going to mount the cable tie to this fixture, and then we're just going to strap it around to hold this power supply in place. Should probably be working on a piece of wood to do this, but I don't have one with me, so I'm just... So now what we should be able to do is just set this right here, loop this through this cable tie, and at least hold it in place. It's not going to go anywhere. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to mount our little LED array to this reflector plate, and I'm just going to center that hole over the hole in the plate. And I could just use these adhesive strips, but I don't trust them, so I'm going to actually drill some holes in here and use some mounting screws on each corner. And before I screw it down and mount it, I will use the adhesive, the tape, but I'm also going to put some of that thermal tape on the back here just as a preventative measure. It's probably not necessary. They don't say to use it. And I'm going to mark where I want these 4 holes. I'm going to drill those holes, and then we'll come back and mount it. Okay, I'm going to remove the backing off this 3M adhesive. I'm just going to put it on top of the 3M adhesive. Place this so that my holes are lined up. Just kind of gently press it into place, and then I can put my screws in. And I'm just holding this nut with my fingers. It doesn't have to be that tight. It's already got adhesive holding it in. Okay, what we're going to do now is take these 2 remaining wires that come out of the power supply. One's red, one's black. And on the board itself, it's labeled blue and red. But you'll notice they did give a plus and a minus sign. And I know that red is positive. As long as we get red and positive, we should be okay. So I'm just going to feed these wires up through this hole. I've got some of that tape backing on me. Like that. And we're going to just punch the red into this little connector that they've provided. And you just want to make sure it goes in firmly and catches. So we will, like that. That should be in good. And now we'll get the black one. Okay, those are in. They're not pulling out. And then I'm going to pull the slack through the other side so it fits almost flush. And now we're ready to replace our 3 screws that hold this all together. And now we're ready to reinstall our globe. You could reinstall the globe after you mount all this up to the wall, but I think it's easier to do here, even though it does make it a little bit heavier. Okay, job done. We've done the retrofit. Now all we have to do is connect this to our household black, AC white, and our ground. And I'll go do that, and then we'll take some video or pictures and show you what it looks like with the new light. I am super impressed with the light that these new LED panels put out. You can just see how it really lights up the front of our house. Here's what it looked like compared to the old lights. And you can see they're almost burned out, especially the one on the left. Now there is one other thing I want to mention. When I reinstalled these on the brick wall, I went around the entire surface with some good silicone seal so that no moisture will get inside. I did leave the bottom edge slightly open so that if there is any condensation, it could drip out from that area. It wouldn't remain inside the fixture. Of course, I'm going to include links to the LED Supply website in the description of this video in case you're interested. And if you enjoyed this video, please do me a favor, give it a thumbs up. That really helps the YouTube channel. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you on the next video.